1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, ready.
Welcome to Straight Talk TV, the show that cares about you. And here's our host, Tony Brown.
Recording in progress.
We appreciate it. We just want everyone to know we do not take it for granted. This is quote unquote Women's Month, but we honor our women every day. But this month has been certified in the calendar for Women's Month. So we're going to honor some women and they're going to share the journey with you. But please, in your heart and in your mind, stand for the Black national anthem.
Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let us march on till victory is won. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of the day begun. Let us march on till victory is won. Let us march on till victory is won. Is won. Is won. Go ahead. The clap praise for Johanna and Steve McCoy, blessing us with their gift, the Black National Anthem. And people, it's a marathon. Okay? And again, Women's Month, and we have some powerful people that's going to be sharing their journey with us. We have going to be joining us is the first Black president of the Oregon Coalition Black Trading. Please welcome Ms. Tina Marva.
Thank you, Tony.
Oh, my pleasure. How are you? Hi. Thank you so much. Ms. Tina, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. I want you to share a little bit. People might be saying, how did she get involved with the coalition? How did she become the president? A little about the coalition and how you got to the coalition, if you will, please.
Sure thing. The Coalition of Black Trades Unionists, we are an international organization, and we have 54 chapters throughout the United States and Canada. It started in 1972, and it began out as political strife when Black leaders approached the national members, the national leadership of the AFL-CIO, expressing to them that they needed to get involved in the Nixon campaign. And basically, they indicated that they needed to oppose Nixon, otherwise workers would suffer. Well, they didn't listen, and what ended up happening is that they went back to their constituents who were Black workers who were very angry at the fact that they weren't they weren't listened to. And so they convened a convention of 1,400 Black workers who made the decision to start the Coalition of Black Trade Unionists because they came to the realization that the only people who could solve their own problems were they themselves. And so that's how the coalition began. Now, I have been an activist here in Oregon for over 50 years. Throughout my work career, I was involved with my union, which was AFSC, which is American Federation of State and County Municipal Employees. During that process, I held multiple offices by which I represented various members. And upon my retirement from state government, I started getting more and more involved with the Coalition of Black Trade Unionists. My mentor, his name was William Lucy. He was the original president of the Coalition of Black Trade Unionists. And I knew him, he was a personal friend. And so he was my motivator when I retired from government services to become more involved with Black worker issues. And so we formed a coalition here in Oregon, and that is what we do.
Well, we appreciate that. And I also give you a big shout out. Congratulations for receiving the Addie Award.
Yes.
If you feel, I'm gonna have the engineer pull up a photo and a short bio of Miss Addie, just in case people don't know who this powerful lady was. Because the award that you received is powerful. Can you pull that up, please, sir? Miss Addie Wyatt. That's Miss Addie Wyatt. Now, I don't know if you can, I'm gonna make a, share a little bit about Miss Addie Wyatt, if you will, please. Ms. Titty, can you hear us?
Sure, I can. So Sister Wyatt was a civil activist, and she basically stood up for the rights for people who couldn't speak up for themselves, and basically was relentless in pointing out the views that everyone needed to be protected equally.
Now, she was also a first in her field, too. Can you put that back up, sir? I want people to see Miss Wyatt because she created a movement. And as you notice, the first, she's also 100 influential women. She was also on Time magazine. She was a pioneer. So when we look at Miss Wyatt and we give congratulations to Miss Tina, well deserved from a powerful lady. So to be in the midst, be a part of that group, again, we congratulate you, Tina.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. People, please do your research. Look up Miss Addie L. Wyatt, powerful lady. Very, very. Okay. Miss Tina, I want to talk with you about your journey. Talk a little bit about your journey. But what inspired you? You spoke about your mentor. But what really pushed you to become, well, let me go back here. What entails being the president of the Black Oregon Coalition of Black Trade Union? Give people a little bit what this entails. Yes.
Sure. So if you were to ask me, say 15 years ago, who my mentors were as far as getting involved in being a union activist, I would have told you that my mentor was Merle Evers. As you know, she is the widow of Medgar Evers. and she is a prominent civil rights activist. And she was able to hold her family together upon his death. Um, since then, um, when you ask me who my mentors are and why I'm so engaged, I have to look at the women in particular that I have actual contact with. Um, because we can all read it in the history books about what women have done or what our heroes have done, but very rarely we have the opportunity to actually have firsthand knowledge of those heroes. And so for me today, what motivates me to be involved in what I do, my heroes are April Sims, who is the president of the Washington State Labor Council, Sharika Carter, who's the secretary treasurer of the Washington State Labor Council, Cleola Brown, who is the president of the A. Philip Randolph Institute, Arlene Baker, who is an activist and a labor leader. She is a former organizer for AFSCME in the 80s back east in DC. P.D. Talley, who is currently a retired Secretary Treasurer of the Ohio FL-CIO. Denise Barkley, who is the previous CBTU International Women's Committee chairperson. And so for me, when I look at my heroes today, I look at the fact that the people that I actually have contact with. These women are still very active in righting the wrongs that are taking place against women.
Oh, we appreciate it. We spoke about some powerful, powerful ladies, and I'm sure they appreciate that. And as the president of the union, can you just share a little bit? Could somebody please mute their phone, please? Thank you. Can you please share a little bit what being the president of this large union, coalition of Black trade unions, what it kind of entails? I know you can't get into all of it, but just a little bit of what it entails so our viewers would know.
Sure. Well, when I look at what my union activism has been here in Oregon, one thing I noticed that while there are a lot of Black workers who are represented by the union, very few of them are actually engaged in their union. And so for me, throughout my 40-year career working for the Department of Corrections, I always made it a point of being there in order to voice my opinion. So what part of my reasoning of getting involved is to be able to share with them that I know some of these heroes and that they do actually exist. To share with them that it's beneficial for them to be able to speak up and find their voices. Because if they don't speak for themselves, then no one will. I want them to know that they're not alone, and yet, yes, they do have value. That not that they have in the pit of their stomach, that it's not something that reflects that they are the problem, but maybe the practices that they are engaged in are the subject of the problems that they may be experiencing.
Somebody might be asking the question, the president of the coalition of Black trade unions, what does that encompass?
Well, what it encompasses is being able to increase the visibility of Black workers. What it means is we are constantly out there reminding the general public that yes, we do matter, and that yes, we do have value. There may not be a lot of us, but the few that there are, it's really important that we remind them that yes, we are here to make a difference and that we do make a difference.
Now, as a union president, there has been a lot of policy that are being implemented, put on pause. And one of them is dealing with workers, federal workers. Have you, as a union president, have a personal experience or know someone that has been affected by some of these policies coming on? Because I want people to know that this is happening to people that we can just reach out and touch every day.
So if I understand your question correctly, we're talking about the federal election that's taking place. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. So yes, I do know of individuals who work for the federal government, and they have had to oversee the release of, say, the probationary employees. And what's so difficult about that is that they don't have any say about who gets released and who stays. They're just given some basic directions that says get it done. And so the difficult part is that the difficult part about this process is that someone else has already made the decision. It has nothing to do with their ability to perform their jobs. They do not know what these employees' family plans are, that they love being public servants. It's just they're just being told to fire them. And so it's very difficult when you have fostered the beginning of their career, and then all of a sudden having to let them go. The other difficult part is they're just going through the first phase of this production of force. I know of individuals who are having, as I said, to oversee this production, but they too are potentially on the chopping block once the government starts going through the process.
And the reason I wanted to share that, because a lot of times on the various news, we hear them talking about it.
Mhm.
But sometimes when a person is affected by someone they know,
Mhm.
it brings the whole process a little closer to home. So we send our condolences out to that person that you might know persons, and we do hope things get better. You have to keep fighting. And we also, while thanking you, I want to thank you for your work at the Women's Institution, Coffee Creek, because just to be a part of that process, share a little bit, if you will, about what that was like for you, working with those women.
Sure. So my main function at a Coffee Creek prison is that I was what was called an intake counselor. So when a felon was sent to prison, they came to my facility and we would do a series of assessments. Part of the reason for doing the assessments is to determine what programming might assist them in avoiding some of the pitfalls that they may have run into the result of their coming into the prison system. Now, the facility I worked at, it was located at the Coffee Creek prison, but it was a side organization or facility that was connected to it. And so a majority of my caseload were the men who came through that facility. And again, the idea was to do an assessment and pass that assessment on to the next prison counselor so that they could follow through so that the individuals being released from prison, that they have a lot more tools to again avoid that they're coming back into the prison system.
Well, we give you a clap praise, really do, for all the work that you do and continue to do. And again, congratulations, Addie L. Wyatt Award. That's huge. And when people start researching that, oh my goodness. So you you are deserving of that award for the work that you have done. And please continue to let Straightalk know whatever we can do. Know you are busy. But we're just taking a little time out of your busy schedule to just share it and help us honor women. And it is a blessing to be able to honor. Ladies and gentlemen, Ms. Tina Morfitt is the president of the Oregon Coalition Black Trade. Thank you so much. Be blessed, okay? And please stay in touch.
Thank you also.
Thank you. And when we come back, we'll be on with Dr. Audrey. She is the chair, she's the CEO
of Dr. Audrey Terrell Institute. And they work with a lot of people. And so she's going to have a couple of them come on, and we're going to share a little bit about her journey and some of the people the youth that she's with as well. So we're going to go to a break, come back. We'll see you on the other side. Thank you. Thank you. Welcome back to Straight Talk TV. And we say here, Straight Talk TV is the show. It's about you, where the information comes from you, people. Thank you for joining us to honor our women. Again, we want to honor our women every day, but this month is kind of placed on the calendar. So we just want to be part of it. We have Dr. Bell. She has two of the students that she has worked with, and they're going to come and share a little bit about what they're doing today. Dr. Terrell, are you with us?
Yes, I am. Yes, I am, Brother Tony.
Okay, and there's a visual, and then you also have with you, let me see here. I think we have Miracle. Miracle, are you with us? Okay. And then
I am, yes.
Okay, thank you. And who else do you have? Okay, joining us. Please pronounce your name. Is it Marquis?
Lanaya.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, Lanaya, thank you. Okay, and we missed one other person.
Her name is Vera Newton. She's
Miss Vera Newton.
Yes.
Can you come on audio so we can see you, so others can see you? And then Miracle. There you go. Welcome. And then Miss Miracle.
Yes.
Okay. Dr. Terrell, thank you so much. And
yes.
It's a pleasure to be part of Women's Month.
Yes.
And as someone, I want to share a little bit. We're talking about, I just spoke with the president of the coalition. Briefly, can you share, because at one time you were probably still are involved in how you started with the trade itself?
Yes, Brother Tony, and let me just start with that, because I spent 50 years proudly within the union. I'm a retired international UAW auto workers women's department director, and I love the job. I had 220,000 women that worked for General Motors, Ford, and Chrysler. I received so many opportunities, and even one particular lady is on this interview with me, Miss Vera Newton. She's going to share a few things. We worked a lot together about women working women. I had the very firm opportunity for the president of the United States to come to my office, sit down, and we would chat about how are working women, what are some of their issues. And from that, I have just wonderful experiences being on the National Council of Negro Women and National Organization of Women, just working with women pretty much in my entire life. So, and I had her to come on. She's going to share a few things, but I just want to say that as a retiree of the International Women's Department out of Detroit, here currently, I still work with Tina Turner Morfitt as Vice President of the Coalition of Black Trade Union, which she just keeps me real busy. We feed the homeless and those in shelters. We go to events and we just participate. I'm a union sister.
Okay.
And just because you're retired, that gives you more room and an opportunity to serve elsewhere. And so I want to thank her for, to her face, thank you for the opportunities that you've given me. And I'm so proud.
I want to talk about serving, but I want to wait for a second. Talk about how you serve, right? I want to go to Mr. Vera and share a little bit, and I want to go to some of the people that are part of your process. So, Ms. Vera, welcome and thank you. Share a little bit about the union with you, and please.
Yes, my name is Vera, and I'm at UAW Local 860 out of Louisville, Kentucky. I met Audrey Terrell in Black Lake, first time women's conference, and she was one of the things that helped forward within organized labor with her guidance and with the guidance of other women such as Tate, who was one of the legislators for UA out of Washington, D.C., it helped me more involved with organizing, which in turn, I also joined CBTU, and I was also joined the Coalition of Labor Union Women, which I eventually became national vice president, representing all UAW women across the country for 8 years. So organized labor, CBT, and with mentors like Audrey, Terrell, D.A.T, these are women that helped me to take my wings. And let me also bring up Eddie Wyatt. Eddie Wyatt, one of the co-founders of the Coalition Labor Women, which we organized in 1974 in Chicago. And the mantra for that first convention was, we did not here to share recipes. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention, that these women that helped me to become a woman that I am today, and that retired, have not. Yesterday, we fundraised, we organized a prom giveaway for my community in Louisville, Kentucky, and UAW Local 860 and the Coalition of Labor Union Women and the Coalition of Black Trade Unionist Women's Committee. We gave away 86 students with prom dresses, gift certificates for $100 for them to rent tuxedos. We did that for our organization.
Oh my goodness. Miss Vera, we appreciate it.
Thank you.
I don't know what you did, but you start coming in late, real clear, and the message there was powerful. It was powerful. And we appreciate what you're doing.
Thank
and
you.
It is a blessing to have you a part of this program and just to be able to honor you and the work that you have done and continue to do. Okay.
Thank you.
Please. And we always say, Straight Talk is your platform. So whenever you feel like you want to share something with our viewers and get the message out, because people, if we don't tell the story, who will? And if we don't tell it now, when?
Mm-hmm.
So we appreciate you very much. Dr. Terrell, again, Ms. Vera, thank you so much. I want to go to the giving back part of your journey. And you have some of your D.A.T representatives here.
Yeah, yes, I do, Brother Tony. I
You have Miracle?
yes. When I retired, I feel a sense of youth, pouring
Yes.
back into our youth. So I started at Dr. Audrey Terrell Institute, taking youth, kids of color, youth of color, to HBCUs or any other university. And you know what? It's been going very well since 2016. We've gone to TSU, and we've gone to Prairie View A&M, and we've gone to Tuskegee, and we've gone to Evergreen State College in Tacoma. We've gone to University of Oregon in Eugene. We go to college fairs around the city. So I'm just, at this time, I have two young ladies that I've been holding on to their coattail, and they hang holding on to mine.
Yeah, who do you have with us?
Share with them. I like to have Lanaya. Lanaya is a beautiful young lady. She went up to U of O to a summer program that we are connected with. So I have Lanaya Creighton here.
Please come on and share a little bit with us. And thank you.
Hi, my name is Lanaya. Dr. Terrell's wing for a while. When I went to U of O, I think it was a really good summer experience because I got to meet other kids of color and still learn things. Like, we had an ethics class, and I learned a lot of history that I didn't know about, and inspired me to do better, and it empowered my voice, as well as learning the financial aids and scholarships that we can be supported with as colored students and get into colleges that we want to.
Now, being a part, people probably said, okay, what's the program about? What is she talking about? Share a little bit about what that program was. Was it for a week or a couple of days, or What was the process?
We were there for 7 days, and we all had our own dorms. You could either be by yourself or with a partner. And during that time, we also had a formal ball where we met the staff and advisors of certain departments that might be in our interest, like the African American History Committee. We learned what they do back there and how they became professors and things, as well as like admissions, just like a lot. There was a lot. And we got to like have dinner with them and hear their speeches.
When you came back, some of your peers asked you, okay, what was this program about? What was your response to that?
I told them that it was like I said, 7 day program, and you got to meet people of your color, any color. There was a lot of diversity there, and everybody was treated equally, and you got to learn about everyone, as well as learning present things that are going on, and like the athletes and stuff, basically getting like empowered while you're there, as well as learning good cultural aspects and meeting new people.
So people probably said, okay, what's her journey now? Where is she headed? What is her degree? What she wants to be? Kind of share a little bit about where you're at right now in this stage and what profession you'd like to go or degree that you'd like to obtain.
That's a good question. I really like when I went, I learned about their nursing and stuff and like medical. I go to Henrietta Lacks Health and Bioscience right now, and I'm working to become a CNA by my senior year.
Yes.
And I'm hoping to get more into like the medical program and being the second nurse within my family who is of color. As well as learning psychology and things.
If someone would ask you a question, I'm going to ask the question too. Who are some of the women that have been an inspiration to you?
Definitely Dr. Terrell and my grandma. Okay. They've had a lot of accomplishments, and probably my biggest inspiration is my mom. She's gone through a lot, and she still perseveres, as well as like giving me good education and backbone, morally and educationally.
Well, I must say this, and I don't like to speak for everybody, but I think I can say this, and everybody that's viewing the show and that's on it will be in agreement. We are so proud of you.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Yes, sir. So I'm proud of you. And today's world, to hear from our youth and what you're doing is inspirational, not just for your peers, but for us to hear from you and to feel the joy of what you're doing and how much you appreciate Dr. Terrell, your mother, and the ladies that has inspired you. And you're going to do great things. And just don't forget about Straight Talk. Just keep us informed and let us know. And some of your peers say, you know what, I'd like to go on and talk about my experience. Get in touch with Dr. Terrell platform. Who you have, and thank you again, okay? Dr. Terrell, who you have joining with us? My pleasure, our pleasure. Who you have? Okay.
Yes, I have Miracle Joslin. Oh my God. She is so special. She thinks ahead of me. You know,
okay.
I think of something, I say, Miracle, you know, they're so the fresh mind.
Fresh mind.
Fresh mind. That's why I love to hang around you. She's a beautiful young lady, very supportive and helpful to her mother and her brother. I love just being around her. And some of the things I've had, she's been there with me in the background. She always don't have to be up front, you know. And I hope she's learning because and she's getting awards. Oh, I went to one event. She got an award, leadership award. And yes, they're right. She's going somewhere. She's going somewhere. Miracle?
Miracle, welcome, Miracle, welcome, Miracle. Share a little bit about our pleasure to have you here. You heard those kind words, but from Dr. Terrell, and how did that make you feel?
It really lights up a room. I really came from a community that respects elders. So I feel like anytime when someone with you know, as much poise and education and experience as Dr. Terrell has compliments for me, you know, it's almost hard to take because, you know, I'm just a young person, you know, just starting in this journey and in this world. And to know that I have the support of, you know, the elders and people before me is so passionate and important.
Absolutely. Okay. What's going on in Miracles World today?
A lot.
Go there. Share a little bit about some of these leadership awards that Dr. Real just spoke about that you received, so our viewers kind of know a little bit.
Yeah, so in Clark County, they have the General Marshall Leadership Award, and I was in that program a couple of years ago. And then since then, I've just been straight on that journey, and I was accepted into the VCLI Institute, which is where, and it's a prestigious kind of politically focused, is helping to get people of color into certain spaces, into, you know, city boards and commissions and things like that. And she was there for my induction for that, and I will be graduating the program in April. So it's just been really fun. I was just at my meeting for that yesterday and feeling very joyous to be there. And I was in the room with city council members getting mock interviews and like one-on-one coaching.
I was just going to ask you, can you take us inside one of those leadership seminars or sessions so we can kind of get a vision with you?
Yes, they're very jam-packed. We have subject matter experts that will come from statewide and even beyond the state to come visit and spend time with us. We usually have it's a all day, a Saturday, and we usually have 2 to 3 sessions. And as I mentioned yesterday, since we were finishing up, our evening session was just mock interviews and getting to meet with local elected officials so we can get that one-on-one and actually see what it's like from the inside. And for them to actually be, you know, very hard and direct on us and like, this is what we're going to be looking for, and we want you to be very well ready for that.
And how does people hearing you, they say like, oh my goodness, how do I get involved with something like that? What is the process?
Connect with someone like Dr. Audrey. As a young person, I feel like, you know, I'm just very out in community, church events. I work for a nonprofit, so just being at a lot of community events, spaces like, you know, the NAACP, LULAC, and things like that. And I feel like when you attach yourself to that and when you volunteer and when you're vocal, I think it makes you stand apart, and it makes people who have connections and kind of like scope you out and see like, this is a young person and I see something in her and I want to nurture this. So I feel like that's really been my journey, is just keep at it, volunteer, be in those circles, let it be made known what you're passionate about, and those opportunities will find you, and you will find people that will be always pulling you in and pushing you through that next open door.
That's so powerful. And we're so very proud, extremely proud of you as well.
Thank you.
We can feel your passion, and whatever Straight Talk can do, just let us know. I mean, you want to bring some of the youth on that's involved with the program and have their voice and let them express to the people, because we're always hearing, not always, but a lot of times, the negative about our young people. So to have you involved with what you're doing and the other young people that are involved with you, please let them know. Straight Talk is a platform for them to get the message out, to show people that we're doing positive things in our community.
Definitely will. I have a lot of people who I think will be interested.
Absolutely. Now, I asked Miss Tina today, earlier, because she's the president of the coalition. Have you know anybody that's been affected by some of these political scenario that's going on? You know anybody that's been affected by that? And because it's good for people to hear firsthand from somebody that knows someone or a part of their world that's been affected by some of these different federal policies that's been going on.
Yeah, I would say working in the nonprofit world, thankfully, my particular job, we don't get a lot of federal funding, but a lot of the organizations that we partner with, or when we're unable to help, or if there's like an additional service needed, there's a lot of organizations that are actually having to kind of shut down or take a step back because that funding just isn't there. I do a lot of work with like the houseless community, and unfortunately, there's a lot of people who were anticipating on, you know, having their bills paid, on having their voucher still be available, and they're running into spots where people who were on wait list and were like, oh, you'll be accepted next month. It's like, actually, we're pausing all these services. We don't know where to go. And even a more slightly personal example is I actually was a part of or going to be attending a health equity conference in Atlanta that I was invited to because of my community work. And I recently got an email that the whole conference is postponed because of the political environment and what's going on federally. And so it really is, happening nationwide, and really even there's small effects that you'd think, like a young person just trying to get out there, learn, go to a conference. And now I don't have that opportunity. There's people out here who are houseless, or who were expecting to have their rent paid, or who are ill and were expecting support, and now they don't have that support.
My goodness. And I appreciate you sharing that, because we hear about it on the news, but to be in the space with someone that's actually experiencing it and how it has affected you. I appreciate you sharing that. And remember, it's a marathon. It's not over, right?
Yes, I'm young and I got plenty to go, and I'm ready for it.
We appreciate you. We appreciate you. Dr. Terrell, we appreciate you so much and the work that you're doing.
Thank you.
And Vera, we appreciate you, and Miss Miracle, and Micaiah. Did I say that? Miracle, you're Miracle. I'm sorry. And we appreciate you so much for sharing. And Dr. Terrell, anytime, please let Straight Talk know, and we can continue to share what our youth are doing. That is so vital, I think, for us to be able to do.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you for having us. Thank you very much.
My pleasure. Be blessed and continue. Remember, it's a marathon, okay?
Yes, yes.
Because we are here because others did not give up.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yes.
now we're on their shoulders. We got to keep going.
Keep going.
We're going to be joined with a powerful lady, NAACP president. But she has so much to share. I know she can't share it all in a little time, but she's going to share what she can with us. We'll be back on the other side. Stay tuned. Thank you. Dr. President NAACP. Marva with us. I see. There you, Doctor. There you are, Doctor. How are you doing? Okay, can you? You're muted. Yes, turn your audio on. Your audio on for us. Could everybody else mute themselves, please? And Dr. Marva, unmute yourself.
Okay.
Oh, hey, bless you, bless you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's truly a pleasure to be in the midst of you as well, and in the midst of all the other women that's been on the show, and just be a part of, quote unquote, Honoring Women Month. Okay, we appreciate that.
Whenever I have to speak about something, I have to look it up so I know what I'm talking about. And I looked up Women's History Month, and they started out with an International Day, and then they went to a week, and then they went to a month. So it started in 1981, and then in March 7th, 1987, it went to Women's History Month. And then after that, between 1988 and 1994, it became a whole month where they celebrated all women. And they were talking about the valiant women of the vote, refusing to be silenced. And that's how they gave them more time. But like I said, it was established in 1987 by US Congress that it would be Women's History Month. And it's an opportunity for others to reflect on how women are being treated. They should show appreciation, they should show love, and show that they care. And in doing so, they have cards, they have posters and proclamations that are made to the women, even candy and flowers. But we have to remember, how did we get here?
Oh, talk to us.
Yes, because I'm from Indiana, and as a young girl, I was always trying to accomplish something or be in something. I just wanted to learn as much as I could. And when I came here, I went to a lot of different meetings. And while I was at these meetings, the people kept asking, well, who are you and what is your name? And then when I became the president of the NAACP, I was that for 7 years. Like I said, I asked Miss Joshua, Val Joshua, and she said she had been there for 29 years. And I was like, oh my, that's a long time.
Yes, yes, it is.
Well, then she talked Earl Ford into taking it. And he was there 11 years, and he was trying to pass it on, and it got passed to Margot Bryan. And she said, Marva, you got to come and do this because I'm working and you're retired and you can spend that time. And I took that project on. But meanwhile, from the time I came to the city in 1977, I was a hospice bereavement counselor. I was earned an degree of Women of Achievement from Clark College and the YWCA. I was a member of the board of the YWCA. And then I worked with the Clark County Historical Museum, and they honored me with How Did We Get Here? And I was like, yeah, that's real good, because sometimes I ask myself that. And then I was selected in a book where they came and they painted an all picture of all of us. And Val Joshua and I were the only Black women that were selected, or the ones that they knew about, because we were out there on the forefront, going to meetings and doing things. And then I was selected as an outstanding alumni of Clark College. And I'm telling you, that was really, really something. But they do need to celebrate Women's History Month. And when I look at history, I look at the past and I look at the present, and I speculate on the future of what really is going to be next. Well, I've come a long ways. I've traveled a lot, and I'm here, but we have to keep it moving. We can't just sit there. We may age, but we have to continue on. And remember the dreams that you had when you were young, and just keep moving forward with those dreams. I also remember the time that when Shirley Chisholm was she ran for president. And that was October 30th, she was born in 1924. And, but she ran for president. And that was our first person, African-American or Black person, as we want to call her that ran for the president. And there are many others that I know, but when I think about that, how far have we come? And when I think about what my father used to say, get an education, go learn as much as you can. And as I said, my dad was born in 1905, my mom in 1909, my grandfather in 1872, my great-grandfather in 1832, and my great-great-grandfather in 1800. And I was born in 1943. So as someone finally told me that I was close to, let me mute this.
Marvel?
Yes, I'm trying to mute that.
Okay.
Anyway, I'm not that far from that.
Is somebody else? Excuse me, Dr. Marvel. Okay,
yes.
there we go. Thank you.
Okay. They were telling me how close I was to those ages, that I mentioned. And with my great-great-great-grandfather being born in 1800, and then my dad in 1905. And they went through slave time. But they went through many, many different things, and we're still going through, because there are still people that want to be the only ones out there in front. We have to share. We have to all be a part of. When we celebrate women, it's women of all colors and all nationalities. And I have this one little part that I found, and it's really true. The road wasn't always straight. The curves in our life were called failures. Yes, we made failures. And the loops in this cause confusion. But driving through life, and that's what life is, driving through life, we have speed bumps. And those were our friends that helped us. And we had red lights, and those were our enemies. And caution lights were called family. And we had flats, and those flats were jobs that we wanted that we couldn't get and didn't get promoted on. But we had a spare tire called determination. And we had an engine called perseverance, and insurance that was called faith, and a driver called Jesus. And that's the only way that we have made it. You can make it, I can make it, and we can all be successful in all that we do. But we have to look past your present and look towards the future and keep your dream in mind. And you can make it. You know, like I said, you've got some of those things as you're driving through life. Everybody's driving now. Used to be walking, but now it's driving.
Yes, ma'am.
But thank you for having me. I sit and read and study. And during COVID, I got my master's, and now I'm working on my doctorate. So I'll finish it up sometime this summer.
Oh, that's a clap praise. That is a clap praise for you. And we appreciate you, Dr. Marva, because when I called you, I was saying, like, could you bless us? Could you bless us with that you have?
Yes.
And you do. Bless us with that knowledge, that information. And I just want to touch on something. Like when he was on that bus, and I think they was trying to break the windows.
Yes, they were. You know,
go ahead.
When you're out there and you're standing for something, you never know what's going to be the outcome. But once you get out there, you have to keep standing. And like they said, if you don't stand for something, you'll stand for anything. So you have to stand for something. And yes, we were afraid, but we prayed and we trusted in God that God would help us through. And that's where we have that faith, that insurance that God's going to be there, and that determination and the perseverance that yes, you're doing the right thing. Go ahead and do it. You have to stand.
You have to stand up. I want people to know a little bit. They probably say, well, what bus was she on? Share a little bit about that time and the bus that you were on when this happened, because we're hearing it from somebody. We have to read this in the book. This is history coming from someone in that. Please.
Yes, that is history. And you know, in Indiana and back in the 50s and the 60s, that's when it was. And we made a determination and we got on the bus and we went to this one particular area. And you know, they were doing the Woolworths drugstore where they had the counter where they eat. We had that as well. And we would go in and order our lunch at lunchtime. You know, they let us sit there for a while. But then eventually they do come and ask, and we tell them, and we get our lunch and we'd eat, and we go back to our high school. But we had to do that. One, we were children at that time. Why would you deny children the right to eat? You know, we had to pay our own way on the city bus to go to high school. There was no yellow buses. We would have greatly enjoyed that. So we had to use our own money to pay to ride the bus, to go to school, and then pay to ride the bus home. But it would have been nice to have been on the yellow buses that they have now. But yes, you just keep moving forward no matter what. You know, I wanted to take algebra and they said no. And I said, why not? I wanted to sing in a talent show. I said, it's for everybody and we're bodies. We're at the high school. And finally they said, okay. And from then on, anybody could sing in the talent show.
Oh my God. Now, all you musicians out there, did you just hear that? They was denied just to be in the talent show. And
Yes.
today you can go on YouTube or wherever you need to go and get your music out there and make labels and make big money and be inspiration. She was denied that.
Yes.
Not no history book we hearing today, people. We hearing for somebody that traveled that journey.
Yes.
Dr. Marva, you touched on something. Denying children to eat. It sounds like it's going on today. There aren't they?
Yes.
Denying, getting ready to cut back on SNAP program.
Yes.
That's denying people to eat.
It's denying children to eat, going to school, and denying them to eat. We had to buy our own books. I mean, books were costly then. Our own paper, our pencils, our notebooks. We were expected. And our parents, either the mother stayed home and the father worked. And my father worked in the foundry. And it was 8 of us children. And he encouraged us, go to school, get as much education as you can. My one brother was a dentist. The other brother was a counselor. The other was a nurse. The other was an accountant. And as they said, I'm the preacher.
Y'all need your money check, your health check. Everybody's in the house. The count, the dentist.
Yes.
That sounds like Black Wall Street. Yes. Absolutely. Mother Marva.
As a teenager at home, I must have been about 13 or 14 years old, and I would go around the neighborhood and write letters for the ladies. And then I used to order stockings and sell them to all the ladies in the neighborhood. I was a busy person.
Sounds like an entrepreneur back then. Do you have time to bless us with a little poetry? Do you have one for us?
Yes, I do. I have, let's see, a little bit of something. And of course, it has to start with, I am a woman.
Come on.
I am alive. I've struggled. I've hoped. I prayed. And God created me. And I am a person of worth and dignity. I have integrity. And I love doing things for people. So I am a woman. And I work constantly to change the face of the nation and those that are around me. I am angered by some of the things that go on, but I still stay the course as I try to remain hopeful in my struggle as I continue to go through life. I am because He is. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Bless your heart. Bless your Dr. Ma. We appreciate you so much. So much. And as you progress, when you get that, you already got the master's, get that doctorate degree, let us know. We're going to bring you on, let you share that with the people.
Oh, I have one other thing, because one brother, well, 3 brothers went to the army, but one brother went to the army and he was in the Korean War and he was captured. And I've been trying to find out what happened to his medals. And it wasn't until he died that we saw the military paperwork, and he had earned 3 Bronze Stars.
My goodness.
And that's what they brought out. The funeral home directors, they all knew that. And I was like, wow, we were kids then. We were so young, 8 years old. We didn't know what was going on. But yes, I would like to find out where those Bronze Stars are.
When you find out, you let Straight Talk know, but we can share with the people, okay? We appreciate you for just letting us sit at your feet during this month of Women's Month and honoring you and the other women's before you. And we just appreciate you so much, okay?
All right. Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. And Straight Talk is the show that cares about you, where the information comes from the people to the people. And it's your platform. So please let us know. And we're going to start a gift and talent, young at heart session.
Yes.
So, please, this is going to be about people. If you know someone 75 and older that you want to nominate or get to us the information, we're going to have them come on because we want to capture the past, the present, so we know about the future. And they can share, just Marva, share with us, Dr. Marva, share with us. She traveled that, and we need to tell the story. We appreciate you so much, okay? Be blessed. Talk to you later, okay? When we come back, we're going to be talking with some sisters. You know, it's month of Ramadan. Assalamu alaikum, Ramadan Habari. And they're going to be sharing a little bit about the journey of Ramadan and their life. So stay tuned. We're going to go to a break. We'll come back. We'll see you on the other side, okay? Again, thank you for joining another Straight Talk. This show that cares about you, where the information comes from you, the people, to the people. And we have some ladies, again, it's the month of Ramadan, and Ramadan Habari, Assalamu alaikum. And we have some ladies that's going through Ramadan is going to share a little bit about their journey. Do we have Anisia Fakwan? I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly.
Anissa Furkan. I'm here, Tony. How are you doing?
Yeah, too. Bless your stress. Salam alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam. Ramadan Mubarak.
Kareem. Who we have joining you with you? Who's joining with you?
My daughter was supposed to join me today, but she's unable to be on camera today.
Oh, bless her heart. Okay, that's okay.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we'll have her one day when she's available to come on, just share a little bit about Ramadan and her journey as a young, I'm a big component of our young people.
Yes, you are.
Yeah, we need to let our young
That'll
people.
be awesome. That'll be awesome. I'll be happy for her to do that.
Okay, let's share a little bit about Ramadan. People saying Ramadan, what's Ramadan? Share a little bit, your journey.
Well, Tony, I became a Muslim when I was about 18 years old. Okay. I was living in Los Angeles and I was approached by one of the brothers from the Nation of Islam with the Muhammad Speaks newspaper. And he offered the paper to me. My mom was with me at the time. And yeah, there was a bit of controversy between the Muslims and the general Black population. And she was kind of opposed to that. And I'm like, Mom, no. Let's take the paper. They've got a lot of news in the paper. So I took the paper and I was invited to come to the mosque and heard the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and accepted Islam right away, just instantly. I heard the truth. And from there, the Nation of Islam evolved after the passing of Elijah Muhammad back in 1975. And his son, Imam Warfdeen Muhammad, took over and brought us more into the full concept of Islam, traditional Islam, per the Eastern Arab Orthodox, what they call Orthodox religion. But it's important to know also that when I became a Muslim, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, he did give us the Quran, and we were reciting the 5 prayers a day, reciting specific verses of the Quran, and we were always imbued with the knowledge of the Quran. And that's the empowering piece of it, because the Nation of Islam, or Islam in itself, is the most empowering and liberating authority for the woman in the world.
Oh my. Okay, people's like, you got us thinking. Touch on that a little bit when you say that. That's powerful.
Well, as the esteemed Dr. Audrey Terrell and Dr. Marvell were given the history of oppression, racism, and discrimination in America, in Islam, everyone is equal. The man has no superiority over the woman has no superiority over the man. And it's only cultural norms that you might see a skewing or some misinterpretation of that. But the Quran holds the woman in the highest esteem. And there's a statement in the Quran that the man is a degree above the woman. And that is only in the sense that the man is stronger, a physically stronger being, anatomically speaking. And the man is traditionally the provider and the protector of the woman and the family. But the woman is held in high esteem because the woman is the nurturer of life, the nurturer, the educator of the children, the protector of the home, the comforter to her husband and the family. So in that sense, and this is a funny thing that used to happen between my husband and I. And sometimes, and he's a Black man from Mississippi. He was born in Mississippi, raised in St. Louis, Illinois, and a Muslim. And sometimes we'd get into a little argument. I'd have to say, dear, remember, the man is just a degree above the woman. And you know how tiny a degree is? And he would laugh and we'd laugh it off. But that's the thing about Islam. The woman can do anything. The woman is held in high esteem. The woman is to be revered as that one who is the caretaker of life, the generator of life.
Because she is, like you were saying, she's rocking the cradle. She's touching that child and nurturing that child to be a part of this society. And
that's correct.
Great responsibility there. It truly is. Now, people probably wonder, okay, Ramadan. Share a little bit about Ramadan and when was Ramadan revealed, or how it was revealed, and what happens during the month of Ramadan for people.
Wow. Okay, Ramadan is the 9th month of the Islamic calendar.
Okay.
And Ramadan is celebrated because it is the month that the Quran, the holy book of the Muslims, was revealed to the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him. During that month, the Muslims fast during the day. It's a month of fasting. And you're fasting from sunrise to sunset. And then at the end of that, you break your fast with a family meal. Now, during the fast, you are to refrain from eating, drinking, bad language, bad thoughts. And it's a month of devotion where you immerse yourself in the reading of the Quran, in the study of the Quran, in the study of Islam, the study of the life of the Prophet Muhammad. And in doing so, you're getting yourself closer to Allah, which is the creator, the one God that the Christians and Muslims all acknowledge and worship. And so for Muslims, Ramadan, we await Ramadan anxiously. We count down the days and we pray that we can meet and come to the next Ramadan, because during the month of Ramadan, it says those who are devoted and those who keep their prayers and those who come to Allah, God, He is the creator that gives you everything, that sustains you, that provides for you, that protects you. Both Dr. Terrell and Dr. Marva commented on their strong faith. And that is the one thing that sustains the Muslims, the knowledge that they have the creator Allah. They're able to communicate one-on-one with the creator Allah. And you get a lot of blessings. It says that those who are close to Allah, Allah is closer to them than their jugular vein. And that's close. And when you're really spiritually in tune, you're in tune to, it says in some of our hadith, those are the traditional sayings and teachings of the Prophet, that Allah speaks through you, where you go, what you move, what actions, whatever you take on. And just like Dr. Marvell was saying, that even though you come up against insurmountable odds, fear, treachery, just people just attacking you, and you call on God to come and assist you, and God never lets down the believers. So that's the joy, the greatest joy for the Muslim during this month of Ramadan.
And it also sounds like it's a way to purify the body, and some people say intermediate fasting, or
yeah, well, during Ramadan, and going back to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, the days of the Nation of Islam, during the life of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, we would have our Ramadan observance during the month of December. And December, that was traditionally what Muslims would look at as pagan idolatry and so forth. So during that time, we restrain ourselves from those type activities and indulge in charity, fasting, prayer. And fasting, you're denying yourself food extravagances and those type things. And you know, if you're a person who, and I'll use my favorite coffee store, which I won't name the name, but it's a Northwestern coffee store, that you would buy coffee that costs, say, $5 or $6 a day. Now it probably costs $10 or $12 a day. And if you're not drinking or eating during the day, well, that's money that you're saving. And during this holy month of purification, you give that money in charity. And charity first begins at home, and then charity begins to those less fortunate than you. So that in itself is a purification. The other thing about Islam, the Prophet Muhammad fasted on Monday and Thursday. So Muslims traditionally are familiar with fasting and fast pretty regularly. But during the month of Ramadan, there are blessings, and there are some blessings that I have witnessed that, you know, it sustains you through the entire year until the next Ramadan.
yes, yes. And you mentioned about the fasting and the purification of the body, and it sounds also like that during this time you're giving back to yourself, but also to the community while you're sharing. Because I mean, to be able, is it called zakat when you?
Zakat, that's a charity. Mm-hmm.
What I mean, that charity piece of Ramadan, during the month of Ramadan.
Well, they're basically during Ramadan, any charity you give during the fasting. And the thing about fasting, the fasting isn't for my priest or my imam. The fasting isn't for my children. The fasting is for Allah. It's between the believer and Allah. So from, or just knowing that submission, that praise, that gratitude that you're giving, and gratitude and praise is a charity as well. Your children see you modeling that type of behavior. These zakat, they're in Ramadan, during Ramadan, it says Allah does not make things hard for you. So people who are ill, women who are on their menses, people who travel are excluded from fasting that day, but they are opportune to make up those days of lost fasting. So, and that comes after our Eid or whatever days. And as I said, Muslims are traditionally known to fast on Monday and Thursday as per the practice of the Prophet. If you are unable to complete a fast, it says that you're able to, if you're able to feed people, that's a benefit and a blessing that you get. After a lot of times during the fasting month of Ramadan, after sunset, the families get together for the family meal. It's called an iftar, and that's with the community breaking the fast. And there are lots of various masjids up in Portland area that have iftar celebrations as well this month.
Now, you mentioned prayers 5 times a day. If, I don't know if I'm using the right word, the significance of 5 prayers a day, can you touch a little bit about the 5 prayers, the kind of the time that they're done and the reason?
Yes, yes. The 5 pillars of Islam are to acknowledge Allah, there is no God but Allah, Allah is one God, acknowledge the books, prayer, fasting, Hajj, and zakat, paying of the charity. So the 5 prayers are established for the Muslim, and we have the Fajr prayer, which is the prayer, the dawn prayer. And that is said before the dawn, the sun comes up, before sunrise. Then there's an afternoon prayer, which starts, it's called the Zuhr prayer, or the afternoon prayer. And that is done right when the sun begins its descent from its zenith. The zenith is when the sun is straight up in the sky. And then once it starts to descend towards sunset, between, say that time and about 3 hours, that's our noon prayer. And think about the noon prayer, and again, the ease of Islam for the believers. A lot of us work, we do work, we have to work, but we have our lunch periods, and our prayers just take about not even 5 minutes, although sometimes I extend mine, when I have the opportunity to. But a lot of our workplaces, they have rooms or setups where the employees can take that break. They recognize the religious needs of the employees, so they accommodate them that way. So after the noon prayer is what you call the Asr prayer, and that's the prayer between the noon prayer and the sunset prayer, which is called Maghrib, the sun setting. And between Asr and Maghrib, depending on the months of the year where the daylight is longer or shorter, we're in the period where daylight is shorter. Actually, we just had the spring forward, so we're gradually going up. But between Asr and Maghrib, that time period is shorter than the window between between Zuhr, the afternoon prayer, and Asr. And again, what the prayer lasts about 5 minutes at the most, if that long, if you do a prayer. And again, that's kind of like a reset. Some people, they take breaks in the afternoon. Sometimes people meditate, do meditation, deep meditation, different types of meditation. Maybe go take a walk or a stroll or what. But the prayer, the actual mechanics of the prayer, the bending, the prostration, those are physical aspects which are rejuvenation. I find it very rejuvenating as something. And then after sunset, the Maghrib prayer, which is sunset, and during the fasting months, that's when we eat. We break our fast, and then we do break our fast with a date. That's what the prophet used. And so a drink of water, we do our Maghrib prayer, and then we have our meal. Again, during Ramadan, what you'll find when you're fasting, your appetite, for me, you don't have such a large appetite because you're accustomed to fasting that long, lengthy period of time. And you find you don't need a lot. And again, if you want to be really charitable and focused, these are things that will allow you to give that which you would ordinarily use for yourself, you will give to others. And that can include your time and so forth. It doesn't have to be money necessarily or food. And then there's the night prayer, which is about 2 hours after the sunset prayer again. And that's the 5 prayers. Now, one of the prayer, the Kayama prayer, this is called the night prayer, which is done between 12 a.m. and 5 in the morning, between the night prayer and the Fajr prayer, waking up. Now, during that prayer, we call it the Tahajjud prayer. And if any Muslims are listening to this program, they will know the joy, the great joy, the benefit, the power that comes from the Tahajjud prayer. The closeness to Allah, you won't believe. I mean, you will believe. And my Christian brothers and sisters too, because we are, we serve one God. The God is the same God that is the owner of the universe, the maker, the owner, the provider, the sustainer. It's one God. So we worship the same God. We call God different names, but it's still one. And when you're focused and you're connected with that source, with nature, there's nothing that can stop you. Because God says, I give you all the provisions you need come from me. All of the protection comes from me. And Sister Audrey and Dr. Marvell, they testify. The young ladies, Miracle, and I love Miracle. I know Miracle from way back and from her work with World Arts Foundation.
Okay. Yes.
And the other little girl, the fact that Black people are so in tune spiritually, to me, that is the only thing that has saved us, that has brought us through the treachery of life that we have had to endure, But we smile. And like I say, during Ramadan, oh my God, we are going through some strange things today.
Right.
But inshallah, by Allah, I call upon the mighty name of Allah to show us a different way. And that means the President of the United States, his Vice President, and all of them. Give them an opportunity to see a better way.
Well, appreciate Sister Farrakhan. Did I say that, Farrakhan?
Furqan. Yeah. Yes. And Furqan means the criteria, that which is the discernment between right and wrong. Furqan is what the Quran is called. And, I encourage the audience to read the Quran, especially my Christian brothers and sisters. There's a Surah 19, called Surah Maryam. And that's Maryam, the mother of Jesus. That is a powerful chapter in the Quran. And
that's so appropriate, because this is the month of women, quote unquote.
Yes.
What's the Surah 19?
Surah 19, Surah Maryam.
And we appreciate you so much to coming on. And I'm looking forward to doing more platform, more shows to just share this, what Islam is, but not only that, to share how collectively our spirits combine together to mash out this force. Now, this is me now. I'll be saying, remove them like they removed Pharaoh from the Bible, right? That's me now. That's me. But it is a marathon, people, and we have to encourage each other any way possible, positively, okay, to continue this marathon, continue to fight the power to the people, as they used to say. And salam alaikum, Ramadan Abari, dear sister. And please know that this is your platform, and we look forward to sharing more about Islam and your travels, the different sisters and brothers that are part of it, because we can't not let religion divide us.
And
That's correct.
And that happened with the first and second resurrection. And we're not going to do that, people. So again, we thank you. Salam alaikum. People, thank you for joining.
I want to say that I do a lot of social media, and you know from our work.
Okay.
Well, one of the things I stress within the Muslim communities, we are one Muslim ummah.
Okay.
Yeah, we'd have different cultures and things that we belong to, but we have one book that has sustained us, has not changed in 1446 years.
Oh my goodness.
That's the holy book, the revelation, the actual speech of God through our beloved Prophet Muhammad.
Salam alaikum. We appreciate you, dear.
Salam alaikum. Wa alaikum assalam.
And Ramadan.
Thank you again. Ramadan Kareem.
Yes. And people,
Bye now.
Bye now. Thank you for joining another edition of Talk. As we say, Straight Talk is the show that cares about you, where the information comes from you, the people. Thank you for joining us with honoring, quote, Women's Month. But we heard it from all the different women and the different perspectives and different walks, different travels. We got to respect the women. And the sister said, we just a degree. And the degree, it's like you said, you know how small the degree is. So reach out and touch, respect the women, and love on each other. And I'm going to drop this to everybody real quick. If you know someone 75 and older that you want to nominate, share their story, we can catch that history, and they can just sit down and we can sit at their feet and we can hear about their travels and gift and talent. Authors, let us know you got a book out, we'll get you on. Real estate people, we got some people coming on that's going to be talking about real estate. Accounting, we're going to be talking about that. We're going to be talking about digital currency. We're going to do our best to get people on from the DMs that I'm getting and the topics that people would like us to share. And gift and talent, spoken words, come on and drop some of your words. If you're a new artist, come on. Starting your own business, come on. Let's share what we're doing with the people. And as you'll see, watch some of our shows, we're all over. We're blessed to be all over, not just in one place. We're all over. So if you know somebody overseas, Paris, Nigeria, we have people from those areas on the shows too. So it doesn't matter where you're at. Let's get the information out. Again, Straight Talk TV is the show to care about you, where the information comes from the people to the people. Be blessed. Love on somebody. Thank you. Go ahead, brother engineer. Because it's been a blessing being in your, and again, while he's playing that song, the closing out, we don't take it for granted. Please continue to send us your emails, your topics, and we will do our best to get people on to share the information. Okay, take care again. Go ahead.